Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally.
I did this shit before. I got a video and them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me.
방청석을 꽉 채운 수십 명의 제복 입은 경찰들이 살벌한 눈빛으로 한 남성을 쏘아보고 있습니다. 자신들의 동료를 잔혹하게 살해하고 공권력을 향해 전면전을 선포한 범죄자의 재판을 똑똑히 지켜보기 위해서였죠. 도대체 이 남성은 무슨 원한이 있었기에 경찰을 죽인 것일까? 그리고 이 살인범은 법정에서 과연 어떤 처벌을 받게 될까?
And it carries with it the possibility of the death penalty, which may be imposed.
지금부터 저와 함께 이 사건의 전말을 파헤쳐 보겠습니다. 처벌 실화냐? (2025년 5월 2일) 오하이오주 신시내티 대학교 인근 교차로. 졸업식 인파로 붐비는 대낮 한복판에서 제복을 입은 경찰관을 차량으로 무참히 들이받는 끔찍한 사건이 발생했습니다.
At 1:05 p.m., Hinton floors the vehicle, crossing into the opposing traffic lanes, and drives directly at Deputy Henderson and hitting him.
The deputy was transported to University Hospital, where he later died.
So that is currently under investigation by both our homicide unit as well as the traffic unit.
1톤이 넘는 차량에 무방비 상태로 들이받친 보안관의 이름은 레리 핸더슨. 사고 직후 외상센터로 긴급 이송되어 심폐소생술을 받았으나 몇 시간 뒤 끝내 숨을 거두고 말았죠. 현장에서 도주 시도조차 하지 않고 운전석에서 그대로 체포된 현행범. 그의 이름은 로드니 힌튼 주니어였습니다.
Next tonight, authorities in Ohio say the man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally.
여기서 우리는 아주 강한 의문을 품게 됩니다. 왜 인파가 몰린 대낮에, 그것도 다수의 목격자가 지켜보는 한가운데서 제복 입은 경찰관을 타겟팅해 죽이려 달려든 것일까? 그 질문의 답은 사건 발생 바로 하루 전인 5월 1일에 있었습니다. 힌튼의 18살 아들 라이언 힌튼이 신시내티 경찰의 총격에 사살되는 사건이 있었죠.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right. He's got a gun.
No criminal charges for the Cincinnati officer who shot and killed an 18-year-old who had a gun and was running from police.
He felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm. This is where we have to go to the state of mind of the officer at the time. Are they seeing, feeling, hearing? If they feel like their life or somebody else's life is in danger, they have a responsibility to stop that threat.
아들을 잃은 극심한 슬픔이 분노로 바뀌었던 것일까? 범행 당일 아침, 경찰청에 있었던 사건이 그의 이성의 끈을 완전히 잘라버렸습니다. 사건 당일 오전 9시 33분, 힌트는 아들의 죽음에 대해 진실을 듣기 위해 가족들과 함께 경찰청을 방문했습니다. 그리고 서장실에서 약 1시간 반가량 면담을 진행하며 당시 상황이 담긴 바디캠 영상을 두 눈으로 확인하게 됩니다. 경찰 측은 아들이 무장한 채 도주하다가 자신들을 향해 총구를 겨누었기에 즉각적인 발포가 정당했다고 주장했습니다.
I have determined that Officer A was legally justified in his use of force on that day.
Where the incident occurred is at the dead end of the parking lot back here. As you can see, this is a stolen Kia. It was stolen out of northern Kentucky yesterday. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters. This is the firearm that was recovered at the scene after the individual was shot. This is what he had in his hand while the officers were chasing him. Remember I told you he fell on the concrete and the officers said that they heard the metal hit the ground? There are 3 spots on here where this gun has scratches on it. We believe those occurred when he hit the ground with the firearm. This magazine was in the firearm. That's an extended magazine, so it holds more rounds. This is a second magazine that was located in his sweatshirt pocket, his jacket pocket. And that is the magazine from that second.
실제로 현장에서도 대용량 탄창이 꽂힌 권총이 발견되기도 했죠. 하지만 아버지의 눈에 비친 극심하게 흔들리는 2초짜리 영상은 전혀 다르게 해석되었습니다. 아들이 경찰을 향해 정확히 조준하는 모습은 영상에서 명확히 식별되지 않았고 쓰레기통 뒤에서 빠져나오자마자 발포된 것으로 보였습니다.
The time between when officers first arrived on scene Thursday and the moment shots were fired is just 6 seconds.
So for them to process and determine a different course of action, I think is unreasonable.
아무리 봐도 정당방위가 아니라는 생각. 그리고 아들의 죽음은 합당했다는 뉘앙스의 그들의 입장은 아버지의 멘탈을 부셔버렸습니다.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them.
오전 9시 51분. 극도로 격분한 상태로 경찰청을 뛰쳐나온 힌튼. 가족들이 운전대를 잡지 못하게 말려 잠시 다른 가족의 차를 타고 현장을 떠났지만 분노를 주체하지 못한 그는 오후 12시 41분경 다시 경찰서로 돌아와 자신의 검은색 포드 차량을 몰았습니다. 교차로 중앙에 차를 멈춰 세운 힌튼. 약간 높은 지대에 위치한 그곳에서 아래쪽 교차로 한가운데 서 있는 핸더슨 보안관을 내려다보게 되죠. 그때 자신의 아들을 무참히 쏜 경찰에 대한 분노와 불신이 들끓었던 것일까? 결국 아무 관련도 없는 보안관을 향해 분노를 표출했던 것이었습니다.
We're gonna get you where you're going, okay?
Can you stand up for me, sir? Are you able to stand on your own? I need you to rotate this right around. You're gonna pinch them. You able to hold yourself up there?
I'm going to ask you some questions, all right? You have a serious medical or mental health issue that needs immediate attention? Is that a yes or a no? Have you recently considered attempted suicide? No. You want to hurt yourself or anybody else? No? Okay. We're going to escort you over to the county. You having trouble walking? Let's place that hand up there.
Here, please just stand still for a second.
사건 발생 직후인 2025년 5월 3일 해밀턴 카운티 지방법원.
Hinton Jr. is currently being held on no bail. His bond hearing scheduled for Tuesday.
초기 신병 확보를 위한 첫 심리가 열렸습니다.
Do your hands for me.
You have to watch your step getting up there and keep your head down so that you don't end up bopping it on the top. Man, okay? Then I'll seatbelt you in once we get you in. Just take your time. I got your back in for balance. I got your back. Watch your head. All right. You good? Watch your head. Okay, ready? Step down slow. Hey, with this step, be right here, okay?
The separate session of the Hamilton County Municipal Court is now in session. Judge Tyrone Yates is presiding this morning. We ask that you turn off all cell phones. You may be seated. Please remain quiet during all proceedings.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning.
임시 변호인은 피의자가 전과 없는 가장임을 내세워 보석금을 낮춰달라고 읍소했지만 검찰은 강력히 반발했습니다.
Anything as to probable cause?
Yeah, we'll waive probable cause this morning. I submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bicknell. They will be the attorneys of record handling Mr. Hinton's case. We understand this is a very, very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Hinton is facing. He has but he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record, and we just ask the court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything to allow the constitutional process to play out.
그리고 진짜 치열한 법정 공방은 사흘 뒤인 5월 6일 정식 보석 심리에서 시작됐습니다. 수십 명의 경찰들이 법정 방청석을 가득 채웠습니다. 억울하게 순직한 선배 보안관에 대한 예우이자 사법부를 향한 무언의 압박을 보여주고자 비번임에도 제복을 챙겨 입고 나온 것이었죠.
Is everyone ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Rodney Hinton.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, at the prior hearing before today.
그런데 본격적으로 재판이 시작되기 직전 엄숙한 법정의 돌연 고함 소리가 울려 퍼지며 아수라장이 됐습니다.
Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat, sir. Sit down. That's my brother.
I just want my brother to see me. Take a breather. I just want my brother to see me. I just want my brother to see me. My brother can't see me. They did this shit before. They did this shit before.
That's not the way to do it.
They did it before. I got video of them messing with my brother and me before. I ain't do nothing. I just wanted my brother to see me. That's my family that thought.
Come on.
Ray, please. Ray, please. Doing all that. Man, see me one-on-one, man.
소란이 진정된 후 수많은 경찰들이 지켜보는 가운데 본격적인 심리가 다시 시작되었습니다.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Is there a plea this morning?
There's a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Plea of not guilty?
Yes.
Will you enter a plea of not guilty? And thank you. And as to bond, the state has requested a hearing on the issue of bond or bail. You may be aware of that.
I am aware of that.
Who would like to proceed?
I'm proceeding, Your Honor.
그리고 검찰 측 핵심 증인으로 출석한 살인사건 전담팀 칼비비 형사의 신문이 시작되었죠.
We will call our first witness, Officer Beebe. Where would you like Officer Beebe to stand, Your Honor?
If it's okay, he can stand right there. If it's okay with him.
Thank you.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, Judge.
How did you become involved in the investigation involving the defendant?
We were notified of a crash that occurred at 200 West Martin Luther King Drive, where a deputy was struck by a vehicle and at the time had serious injuries.
Okay, and is that location in Hamilton County, State of Ohio, City of Cincinnati?
It is.
And are you aware of his reason for being at CIS?
Yes.
Okay, and why was he at CIS?
He was at CIS to meet with CPD officials to review body-worn camera footage related to an incident that had occurred the day prior. His son had been shot by a Cincinnati police officer.
Okay, and so was he there, to meet with the chief of police?
Yes.
Okay, and so on that date, at that time, did he view a video which depicted his son being shot and dying as a result of contact with a Cincinnati police officer?
Yes.
Okay. And then after he viewed that video, and if you know, approximately what time did he view that video?
Shortly after 9:30 that morning.
Okay. And after that, do you know where he went or what he did?
Yes.
Were you able to speak to the people or some of the people or family members that he was with when he was at CIS?
I was.
Did they describe his emotional state at that time?
Yes. They said that he was upset, was agitated, and they were concerned enough about his emotional state that they did not want him driving.
And can you describe where he left, where he drove from CIS to the location where Deputy Henderson was struck?
Well, he after he came back to pick up the car, he actually left the parking lot, followed by some family members in another car, and then a few minutes later returned to the parking lot at CIS, drove through the parking lot, and then left the parking lot again.
Tell me what he did after he stopped.
So based on witness statements as well as the video, vehicle accelerated quickly, proceeded eastbound, crossed into the oncoming lanes directly at where Deputy Henderson was standing, struck Deputy Henderson and the metal utility pole on the northeast corner of the intersection.
Okay. Were there any evidence of skid marks?
No, there were no indications at any point that he tried to brake stop or otherwise avoid Deputy Henderson.
And is that the conclusion that our accident reconstructionists have come to at this point?
At this time, yes.
Okay. And does it appear from your review of the video that he headed straight for Deputy Henderson?
Yes.
And did any of the multiple witnesses that you spoke to and the people that were in the vehicles that were surrounding him, the people that were on scene, did anyone indicate that any attempt to slow down or deviate his path straight to Deputy Henderson?
No. Everybody said that he accelerated and was traveling at a high rate of speed all the way up until the time that he struck Deputy Henderson.
Okay. And when he struck Deputy Henderson, was the deputy injured?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened after he struck Deputy Henderson?
Deputy Henderson was launched several feet through the air, several feet from where the collision occurred.
And what happened in the immediate aftermath after he struck Deputy Henderson? Where was the defendant? Who was on scene? What happened?
The defendant was located inside the Ford Focus and was pronounced deceased a couple hours later.
And in addition to the people that you spoke to that were on the scene and the vehicles that were surrounded, did homicide speak to other witnesses as well?
Yes.
Okay. And from your investigation and from speaking to those witnesses, what is your conclusion as to what happened on that day?
We believe, based on our investigation, the witnesses that we spoke to up to this point, that Hinton left our office and was traveling and came upon Deputy Hinton and made an intentional decision to drive directly at Deputy Hinton and strike him and kill him.
Okay. And based upon that investigation, did you decide to charge the defendant with aggravated murder?
We did, yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, Judge.
Judge, first of all, I would like to offer on behalf of the Hinton family and myself, prayers to the Hinton family, prayers to the family of Larry Henderson, the fallen deputy, and I thank the court for having a fair assembly in the courtroom today. With that, I'd like to ask you a few questions, not a lot, okay?
Yes, sir.
You said that Mr. Hinton left the police station around 12:30.
He initially left around 10:30.
Came back and then left again.
And then returned a couple hours later, yes.
And you said that individuals that know Mr. Hinton, his family members, were saying that he appeared to be agitated, upset, and so forth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't know the source of that that agitation or that distraughtness, do you? If you know, you might not. I don't think you do, but you have to answer the question.
The source of the agitation?
Yes.
Well, I would assume it was because of I believe it was because of the video and the reason that he was at CIS.
Do you know the mental history of Mr. Hinton?
No, I do not know detailed mental history.
Right. Do you know whether or not he's had any medically documented infirmities or conditions? Do you know that? Yes or no?
Like I stated previously, with the facts and circumstances surrounding it, and him driving up until that point, and all the circumstances that surround him leaving our office, and from talking to witnesses, he was emotionally distraught, and they were concerned about him driving, and they were concerned about his safety.
No further questions, Judge.
Mr. Bennett, thank you for your questioning.
검찰은 이 증언을 토대로 이 사건은 경찰관을 향해 치밀하게 범행을 실행해 명백한 고의살인이라며 보석 전면 불허를 강력히 주장했습니다.
All right, so the position of the state is that, what's the state's position as to bond?
Judge, as to bond, in closing, what I would say is that pursuant to 2937-222, we have shown proof that it is evident that the defendant committed the crime. We have an investigation that includes information from multiple witnesses causing the death of Deputy Henderson, who was a law enforcement officer engaged in the course of his duties. Because of the extremely random nature of this attack, it renders an unpredictability to the defendant that cannot be accounted for with a bond when he was released, because we have no way of preventing him from removing an EMU device, no matter what kind of bond you give him, and gaining access to another vehicle and and doing this again. Defendant in his current state is a giant mental health question mark and is a clear and present danger and poses a substantial risk of physical harm to law enforcement officers and to the public, as evidenced by his conduct on the 2nd of May. There are no other alternative means or conditions of release that will adequately protect the public. The weight of the evidence, the nature and circumstances of the offense charged as being an offense of violence, the defendant's mental condition, and the nature and seriousness of his danger to police officers and others in the community strongly suggest that denying bond is both in the interest of the community and in the interest of the defendant.
반면 정식 선임된 클라이드 베넷 변호인의 전략은 일반적인 예상을 뒤엎었습니다. 그는 범행 자체를 부인하거나 무리하게 보석을 요구하지 않았습니다. 오히려 피해자의 정신 상태를 내세우며 정신치료를 받게 유지해달라고 부탁했죠.
But what I agree with the state is that there is a giant mental health issue, and I would ask that whatever bond, whether it's a no bond or a monetary bond, I just want to make sure add that component of mental treatment.
Judge, one of the factors with respect to the Ohio Revised Code in detaining a person with no bond is his mental condition. That has to be explored. His mental condition. What was his mental condition at the time he committed this offense? It's stated in the statute. It's 2937.22, the character, physical, and mental condition of the defendant or the accused. That's at issue.
I believe that the witness indicated that his opinion was that the act was intentional.
Right. And in making that opinion about whether or not it's intentional, you need to know the mindset or the mens rea of the person that you're claiming intended to do this. Was he in his right mind? That's relevant with respect to your bond determination.
I'll sustain the objection.
그런데 사람들은 몰랐습니다. 변호인의 이 주장이 추후 변호에 어떻게 활용될지를 말이죠. 양측의 입장을 모두 청취한 타이론 예이츠 판사는 단호하게 판결을 내렸습니다.
Deciding these issues between the defendant and his rights and the state and its presentation that the court's required to make these inquiries.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. There will be an order of remand with no bond. Please assure the safety of the defendant and any mental health treatment that can be granted.
판사는 사안의 중대성을 들어 보석을 불허했지만 변호인의 요청을 수용하여 구치소 내 자해를 철저히 방지하고 즉각적인 정신건강 치료를 병행하라는 명령을 내렸습니다. 구속유지 판결이 내려진 후 5월 13일 사건은 상급 법원인 해밀턴 카운티 일반 구소법원으로 전면 이관됐습니다.
We're here today because Mr. Hinton has been indicted by the grand jury on the two counts of aggravated murder with death penalty specifications, one count of murder, a specialty felony, and 2 counts of felonious assault.
재판을 맡은 조디 루버스 판사는 피의자 힌튼에게 향후 재판이 어떻게 진행될지 그리고 어떤 형량을 받을 수 있는지 고지합니다.
The first and the second count of the indictment are aggravated murder, and it is what is called a special felony, and it carries with it the possibility of the death penalty, which may be imposed, making this what we call a capital murder case. Although a capital murder case is procedurally much more complicated, most of the rights you have in a death penalty case are the same as any other type of criminal matter. You are presumed to be innocent, which means the state of Ohio has to prove that you are guilty if they can. They do this by calling witnesses to the stand and presenting evidence. If you are found guilty of the principal offense, but not guilty of the specification, I will sentence you to one of the following sentences: life imprisonment without possibility of parole, life imprisonment without parole for 30 years, life imprisonment without parole for 25 years, or life imprisonment without parole for 20 years. If you are found guilty of the principal offense and the specification, we will move to a second phase of the trial known as the sentencing phase. If the jury does not find beyond a reasonable doubt the aggravating circumstance outweighs the factors in mitigation, then one of the life sentences will be imposed. I will not be permitted to impose the death penalty without the unanimous recommendation from the jury. The verdict in the sentencing phase does not necessarily have to be unanimous. A single juror may prevent a death penalty recommendation by finding that the aggravating circumstance in the case does not outweigh the mitigating factors. However, all the jurors must agree before they can recommend a death penalty. Mr. Defendant, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
And are you under the influence of alcohol or any drugs?
No.
Are you taking any medications right now?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
What medications are you taking, sir?
Laxapro.
I'm sorry?
Laxapro.
I can't hear you.
Laxapro.
Maxiprone? Laxapro. And what is that for, sir? I'm just asking to make sure that he knows what he's doing today so that he's of clear mind. I ask all because he's entering his plea that he's not intoxicated, he's not loopy, he's not under the influence of any drugs. I'm not trying to pry into anything, sir, but just to make sure he knows what he's doing here today. All right, thank you so much. Anything else from you, Mr. Bennett?
No.
This incident supposedly occurred on May 2nd of 2025, and as soon as your statutory trial date should be somewhere around February, the beginning of February of 2026.
It's not a complicated case. It's not a simple case, but it's not complicated. It's not factually complicated. I think the issue is his mindset, his mental status at the time of the offense. That's a straightforward, singular issue. This case, in my mind, is a clear-cut, classic case of a person being mentally ill at the time they committed the offense. More so than some other cases that I've had where the mental status of the person committing the crime was at issue. This young man had a mental condition and defect before any of this happened, and it was triggered by the video of his son being killed. This is a classic mental illness case, more so than the other cases I've successfully resolved.
What was the mental illness that he had that you think created this?
You will see that in the future. I know it created it, and that'll be forthcoming.
이대로 간다면 피의자 힌트는 검찰의 주장대로 사형 선고를 받을 확률이 매우 높아 보였습니다. 그런데 클레어몬트 카운티 구치소에서 소란 사건이 발생했습니다.
Ready? Come on. Come on. Yeah. You want to come on this door? Oh. Come on.
Do you want it?
What?
Do you want it?
Walk. 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 Or you're going to the ground. Walk or you're going to the ground. Walk or you're going to the ground. Walk. Now.
I can't walk. I got on slippers.
Walk. Walk. Sit down.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground, baby. Stop. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Stop kicking. Stop kicking us now, Henry.
Damn.
Stop.
Damn. Damn. Damn.
Is everybody contaminated, Corporal?
Damn.
Is everyone good? All right, stand up.
Damn.
Do not spit. Stand up.
I can't see.
Do not spit.
Stand up. I can't
stand up. Do not spit.
You hear me?
I hear you.
I'm sorry.
It's too late for that now, man. You shouldn't have done that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Should not have done that, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
수감 중이던 힌튼이 교도관을 폭행하고 거칠게 난동을 부리다 제압당하는 모습이 바디캠에 고스란히 담긴 것입니다. 변호인은 이 순간을 기다렸던 것일까? 이 사건이 일어나자 마치 이것을 기다렸다는 듯 반격 카드를 들이내밀었습니다. 피의자의 감정통제 불능 상태를 부각하며 중증 정신질환 SMI 감정을 법정에 의뢰한 것입니다. 이에 법원이 지정한 주정부 공인 심리학자와 제3자 정신과 전문의들이 심층 감정에 돌입했고 결과는 변호인의 의도대로 흘러갔습니다.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Bennett, you may begin.
State your full name, doctor.
My name is Jennifer O'Donnell.
How many times have you done a competency evaluation?
I've done thousands of competency evaluations.
And how many times have you done not guilty by reason of insanity evaluation?
I would say probably 200 to 300.
Okay. So you're well versed with respect to the issues of serious mental illness and whether or not that has an impact on the rational judgment of the person at the time of the event. That's well within your province.
That is absolutely within my lane.
And who contacted you in this case? Did I contact you or did somebody else contact you with respect to the evaluation of Mr. Henry?
Similarly to 99% of the evaluations I do, I was contacted by the court.
Right. So you were not contacted by the prosecution, correct?
That's correct.
Do you have an opinion within a degree of reasonable medical certainty about whether Mr. Henry had a serious mental illness on the date of this offense?
I do.
What is your opinion?
I believe Mr. Hinton experiences bipolar disorder and that he was experiencing symptoms consistent with that during the period of this offense.
Was there any aspect of psychosis?
Not that I could determine.
So did you opine that he had bipolar with psychotic features? Was that your opinion in your report? And what is your conclusion or opinion about what mental illness he had, if any, at the time of the offense?
He has bipolar disorder and has had an episode of psychotic features, which allows for meeting that diagnostic criteria.
Okay.
I did not determine whether he had actual psychotic features at the time of the crime.
And you have a bipolar disorder as compared to a lucid person. That bipolar disorder may impact it. In this case, you said it did impact it, right?
That's correct.
피의자가 합리적 판단 능력을 심각하게 훼손하는 중증 정신 질환을 앓고 있다는 진단을 내린 것입니다. 오하이오 주법상 합리적 인지 능력이 훼손된 중증 정신 질환자에게는 사형을 선고할 수 없습니다. 변호인이 던진 회심의 카드가 정확히 먹혀든 순간이었습니다. 결국 가장 강력한 무기를 빼앗긴 검찰은 기존에 기소했던 사형 구형을 공식 철회하기로 전격 합의합니다. 그리고 피의자가 두 번 다시 사회에 나오지 못하도록 가석방 없는 무기징역으로 처벌 전략을 전면 수정하죠. 사형이라는 최악의 수를 피하자마자 변호인은 기다렸다는 듯 주 정부 공인심리학자의 감정보고서를 법정에 공식 제출하며 쐐기를 박습니다. 기존의 단순 무죄 주장을 거두고 정신질환 및 결함에 의한 무죄, NGRI를 주장한 것입니다. 그리고 철저한 시간 끌기 전략에 돌입했죠. 오하이오주의 신속 재판 권리에 따르면 피의자는 체포 후 270일 이내인 2026년 2월경에 본 재판을 받았어야 했습니다. 그런데 변호인 측이 합법적인 정신감정 절차를 무기로 구사하면서 재판은 점점 길어졌죠. 하지만 재판부는 더 이상 이 사건을 끌 수 없다고 판단, 2026년 4월에 변호인과 검사와 조율하여 최종 공판일을 정했습니다.
We have some new information we're learning right now. When the man accused of intentionally hitting and killing a beloved Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy will now stand trial.
So a judge has set the trial against Rodney Hinton Jr. for October 5th.
최종 공판일은 10월 5일. 무고한 보안관의 목숨을 앗아간 이 비극의 끝에서 과연 이 남성은 어떤 처벌을 받게 될까? 검찰의 시나리오대로 배심원단이 그를 분노에 찬 살인범으로 인정한다면 피의자는 가석방 없는 무기징역을 선고받고 평생 교도소에서 썩게 될 것입니다. 반면 변호인의 시나리오대로 그의 행동이 통제불능의 발작으로 인정된다면 피의자는 정신질환에 의한 무죄를 선고받고 정신병원에 수용되어 치료라는 명목하에 살아갈 것입니다. 경찰의 총격에 아들을 잃은 아버지가 무고한 보안관을 잔혹하게 살해한 비극. 다가오는 10월 5일 열릴 팽팽한 법정 공방전에서 배심원들은 과연 누구의 손을 들어주게 될까? 여러분은 이 사건에 대해 어떻게 생각하시나요? 여러분의 생각을 댓글로 남겨주세요. 구독과 좋아요, 댓글은 영상을 만드는데 큰 힘이 됩니다. 감사합니다. 처벌 실화냐?